That's how long Nancy Guthrie has been missing from Tucson, and according to recent reports from Fox News, authorities are denying they have a short list of suspects. For those unfamiliar with this case, Nancy Guthrie disappeared from what residents describe as one of the safest, most close-knit communities you could imagine. And now, that sense of safety has been shattered. Today, I want to talk about this case, not to speculate, not to point fingers, but to reflect on what this kind of disappearance does to a community and why stories like Nancy's matter to all of us. According to the report, it's been 18 days since Nancy was last seen. The local sheriff's department has reportedly not identified a clear suspect, which has left both the family and the community in a state of painful uncertainty. What struck me most in the footage was hearing directly from Tucson residents, people who've lived there for decades, who gather for coffee every morning, who know each other by name. These aren't outsiders, these are neighbors, and they're scared. One resident, Jim, said this type of crime and notoriety isn't what they're used to. Another woman, Mary, mentioned she's raised her children there and always felt safe, until now. Terry simply said people are scared. And Alan expressed confusion, saying folks keep asking what the sheriff is saying, but answers seem hard to come by. Here's the thing that hits hardest for me. This was a community where people didn't lock their doors. Think about that. In 2026, in a world where we're told to be cautious everywhere, there was still a pocket of America where trust was the norm. And now, according to the report, a lot of people are locking their doors for the first time. That shift from trust to fear is profound. It's not just about one missing person, as tragic as that is. It's about the psychological toll on everyone who lives there. Elderly residents, parents, longtime neighbors, they're all suddenly looking over their shoulders. Mary said something that really resonated. She can't imagine not knowing where her mother is. That's the nightmare Nancy's family is living right now. And while we hope and pray for her safe return, the reality is that every day without answers makes that hope a little harder to hold on to. Some people watching this might think, why isn't there more information? Why no suspects after 3 weeks? And that's fair. Investigations take time, but when a loved one is missing, every hour feels like an eternity. Families want updates. Communities want reassurance. Others might feel frustration with media coverage, wondering if this case is getting the attention it deserves or if it's being overshadowed by other stories. Then there are those who see this as a broader issue. How do we protect vulnerable people, especially the elderly, in communities that have traditionally relied on trust rather than security systems? There's no one right way to feel about this. But I think we can all agree on one thing. Nancy Guthrie deserves to be found. Her family deserves answers, and this community deserves to feel safe again. It's important to remember that law enforcement is likely doing everything they can. Investigations don't always move at the pace we want, and sometimes holding back information is necessary to protect the integrity of the case. At the same time, it's also fair for residents and family members to feel anxious, confused, and even frustrated. Transparency matters, especially when fear is spreading. What we shouldn't do is jump to conclusions, spread rumors, or assume guilt without evidence. That helps no one. Not Nancy, not her family, not the community, and not the investigation. So where does that leave us? Nancy Guthrie has been missing for 3 weeks. A community that once felt untouchable now feels vulnerable. A family is living every parent's worst nightmare. And all we can do, those of us watching from the outside, is keep Nancy's story alive, support the search efforts, and remember that behind every headline is a real person, a real family, and a real community trying to make sense of the unthinkable. If you have any information about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, please contact the authorities. And to everyone else, stay safe, stay vigilant, but also stay compassionate. Let's hope Nancy comes home soon.